What's going on, Magnum Militia and Mark Army? It's your boy, the Icon G here, back again with another recap here for Magnum Wrestling. This time we brought us World Series of Magnum, where we had a tag tournament to determine all contenders for the Magnum Wrestling tag team titles. We had crazy amount of matches here tonight. So sit back, enjoy this recap. Remember, you gotta like, you gotta comment, you gotta subscribe, you gotta hit that notification bell so you get more of that Mark goodness. And then also some of that Magnum Militia amazingness. Now, tonight, we had a lot of storylines either move on to a new level or end, is kind of what we had here tonight. We'll start with our first match. We have the Thoroughbreds. We had Atlas Armstrong, Talon Graves, making their return here to Magnum to take on the kids' table, Dexter Daniels and Knox Caulfield, in our first qualifying match, because later on in this night, we actually had a triple threat tornado tag match to determine the new number one contenders. Here in this matchup, we had the Thoroughbreds definitely starting to show off that experience firsthand against the kids' table. Kids' table's a newly formed tag team. Like I said, Dexter Daniels last month would put away the striped shirt to be put on a pair of tights and become a wrestler. And then he quickly became friends with Knox Caulfield, and now that's how we have the kids' table. Thoroughbreds, like I said, no strangers to tag teams, and here they are coming in from Missouri. The call went out to see who wanted to become our contenders, and man, did we get competition. Some returning faces, some new faces, love it. But in this matchup, first team to qualify was the kids' table. Knox Caulfield and Dexter Daniels move on to the semi-main event. After this, we had Nino Hatchet taking on one of Bulletproof graduates in Crimson Hail. Man, these guys had a match. They freaking beat each other senseless. The story of Nino, knowing these spry and green wrestlers, new wrestlers, getting into their head, knowing that, hey, let's see what you got. And there were some spots where I was like, oh my gosh. He was laying into Nino. Nino was laying into Hale. But ultimately, Nino did pick up the win. 1, 2, 3. And then we move on to the next match. We had our second qualifier match for the number one contendership. We had None More Violent in Jen Holloway and the Freak Show taking on Mac to the Future, JC Slater and Lumber Mac. Now, this match was kind of crazy in the sense that we definitely got to see the power of Mac and Slater, but we also got to see the cunningness, the cleverness of None More Violent, where ultimately choked out JC Slater with his own wrist tape and covered it with his arm to choke him out. And that's what gave them the qualifying for the next match. And then we'll move on to the next match after this, where we had Leon King and Teddy Mercury, frenemies, I guess you could say, which was pretty weird, the tag team name, taking on Silent Chaos and Javier Santiago and QC Wayne. Now, in this matchup, we got weird. We had some very unorthodox offense by Leon King and Teddy Mercury taking on Silent Chaos, and it just proved too weird. They were just not ready for this, and that took them out. So Leon King and Teddy qualified, making our triple threat tornado tag later in the night. Was pretty weird. And Teddy Mercury and Leon King, the kids' table, Dexter Daniels and Knox Caulfield, and then None More Violent and Jen Holloway and Freak Show. So after this, we'll move on to our Magnum Wrestling Heavyweight Championship. We had Brandon Nitro taking on Alan Falcone, where last week Alan Falcone was able to beat Dexter Daniels, not get his head shaved, but able to get a matchup against the Magnum champion, and also pick his own referee, which in this matchup, he picked Joe DeSanti. Now, we go into this match, obviously, it definitely felt like a handicap match, a 2-on-1 type of affair, where ultimately Nitro was able to outsmart them and knock out DeSanti and still use DeSanti's own hands to count the 3 count, pinning and retaining the Magnum Heavyweight Championship. We moved on to a little intermission. We came back. We had Jamison McGregor take on Kit Sackett in a barn burner of a match. But before we get into that, earlier in the night too, we had an announcement from our GM, Duke Cornell, saying that next month the Hot Magnum Nights, the Piggy in the Bank returns. And he announced 4 competitors that were going to be in that ladder match. We have Kit Sackett, we have Jameson McGregor, we had Brixton Nash, and we also had, who was the 4th? Alvin Falcone. So we have 4 championship-worthy competitors. 3 of them, every one of them, has held Magnum Gold. So this is going to be like almost like a Magnum Championship All-Star Piggy in the Bank, if I do say so myself, which is going to be insane. But move on to the next match. We have Alvin Falcone, Brandon Nitro facing off against each other. Like I said, Nitro did retain, but Falcone has that opportunity next month as well. So we'll see how that fares for him. Like I said, back to our match. Kit Sackett, Jameson McGregor. These guys freaking beat the ever-living snot out of each other. Kit Sackett was busted open. We were talking strikes. We were talking holds. We were talking all this technical from Kit Sackett. Kit Sackett the nose. And then the unorthodox or the unknown high flying of Jameson McGregor. That man is athletic. For the size and the style that Jameson is, he was able to do a tope. Freaking moonsault. Mind you, Kit Sackett got his own moonsault in. And holy crap, guys. Holy crap, these guys beat the snot out of each other. But there was one winner, and unfortunately for Kit, it was Jameson. Move on to the next match. We have Ashlyn Alexander, the current Hellcat champion, taking out Brody Dahl for the Magnum Hellcat Championships. Ashlyn just in control. The powerhouse, the hoss that is Ashlyn Alexander, proved too much for Brody Dahl. Mind you, she put in some licks in, but she was not ready for it. Unfortunately for Brody, Ashlyn did retain the championship. We'll move on to our semi-main event. We had the Triple Threat Tornado tag match from earlier in the night. We had the kids table, None More Violent, and Super Pretty Weird in this culmination to see who was to be the first to cash in their ticket for the Magnum Wrestling Tag Titles next month at Hot Magnum Nights. And we're talking about chaos everywhere. Bodies flying, people getting thrown around, strikes, holds, you name it, it happened. All right. Ultimately, came down to the kids' table cashing their ticket in and meeting the Magnum Tag Team Champions. But before we move into Hot Magnum Nights, we got to talk about the main event, guys, because that match also determined who would be seeing the kids' table next month. And either it was the Young Guns, the current Magnum Wrestling Tag Team Champions, or Royal Flavor, the season. Devo Knight, Alex Finley, talking Relly Carter, Drake Calloway. Man, these guys, they know each other inside of the ring. They've been able to know each other's tactics. Royal Flavor, just like the rest of the Magnum Militia, they're fed up with the Young Guns. If they were to lose by disqualification or by countout, the championship advantage was null and void, so it would still move over to Royal Flavor. So there was no hiding, there was no ducking that they could do. So it's crazy to see that we had to jump to this stipulation for the Young Guns not having a leg to stand on. And man, did we just, like I said, utter chaos, high impact. It was redonkulous, guys. Ridiculous in this matchup. But it ended up, Young Guns did set in the death sentence, could not put away Royal Flavor away. Royal Flavor hit the spice rack for the 1, 2, and 3, and I kid you not, the German American Society, I bet you if you look right now, they do not have a roof. There's no roof on this place. None whatsoever. We're probably getting our roofing guys to come in Monday and probably put a new roof on the German American Society after what happened, what transpired here tonight. And only you can experience this either in person, by going to simpletix.com/Magnum Wrestling, or even going to the Patreon, signing on about $8, $9, $10 a month. You'll be able to see the live feed, you'll be able to hear my amazing voice, you'll be able to hear the amazing Daisy Daniels' voice. And dude, this is where it's at right now, guys. You cannot find more quality wrestling here in Omaha than in Magnum. I'm gonna be honest with you. And I'm not saying that just because it's a fact, brother. It's a fact. But hey, that's enough for me. That's our recap here, guys. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, follow the marks, follow 4.5 marks, follow Magnum Wrestling. Make sure you support your local wrestling scene if you're not in the area, if you're out, far out. This is where it's at, brothers. This is where it's at, sisters. Come on. But that's my time. Remember, that chick bounces. So, adios.